Hello, YouTube and Facebook fans. Good to see you again. This is JJ from Paranormal Talks, paranormaltalks.com. We are here as educators around the paranormal, supernatural, and the metaphysical sciences. They probably address and educate us around the area of the metaphysical sciences. And within those sciences are divination tools. And this video is a numerology video, which is one of the divination tools. And this video will be looking at particularly your soul urge. Now, Paranormal Talks, we seek to help you awaken yourself first. We want to make the paranormal normal. We want to make the supernatural natural. We want to make these normal and natural parts of the human experience. And why that isn't true in the Western culture that we live, I don't know. But it's a big, big part of ourselves. It is a big part of who and what we are. Now with Paranormal Talks, we have a website. I just want to mention it quickly. Paranormaltalks.com. We have a video store where we have great and amazing speakers around the paranormal and supernatural. These are videos that are 1 to 2 hours of really good speakers who talk about their near-death experience, how they died or how they were killed and how they came back from the dead. ET abductees, how they were abducted, what they experienced on the ship and their return. UFO contactees, psychics, mediums, out-of-body experiencers, people who have experienced afterlife contacts from their dead loved ones, you know, like ghosts and spirits. And we even have inventors who've invented devices and methodologies to better heal us psychologically, emotionally, and most of all, physically. And those are all found in the video store on paranormaltalks.com. So now let's take a look at your soul urge number 7. Now we already talked in previous 9 videos where we talked about your birth path, your life path, which is based on the month, day, and year you were born. But now with the soul urge, this is only one of 3 numbers that are derived from your name, your given name at birth. And it's the name that appears on your birth certificate, not your nickname, not your married name, not an adopted name, but the name that appears on your birth certificate. Because actually with an adopted name, you may have been given a name, and then when you were adopted, you have a brand new birth certificate with a different name. Well, we want the name that you actually showed up here with. You know, when you popped out and you took your first breath here in the universe, that name that was given to you. So we'll be looking at that. Now, of the life path, that number is derived from your birth name, your birth date, month, and year, and that is what you will do in this lifetime, what you'll manifest, and the activities you will do to fulfill your life purpose. The destiny number, that also comes from your given birth name. That's one of the 3 numbers. There's your personality number, and then there is the soul urge number. Now, I would consider that pretty important because it comes from your soul. What you determine and what you signed up for before you incarnated into this lifetime. That's your soul urge number, and there's no denying that number. That runs through everything in numerology, is that soul urge number. The soul urge number comes from all the vowels in our given name, as shown on our birth certificate. And the vowels are you know, like A, E, O, I, U, and Y. The letter Y is depending on how it's used in a name. That's the soul urge number, and I'll show you a cheat sheet on how to find your soul urge number. But first, the soul urge number, that is what you really value in life and what you came here to experience and learn and express. So it's really a full boat. Is the soul urge number is what you will constantly seek out in order to make yourself feel safe, whole, and satisfied. That soul urge number. It is an inner craving, and it's experiences that you crave to have and thereby express. You want to nurture this soul urge number, because when you do, you'll develop it more, and when you do that, you will thrive far, far more than if you had ignored it. Now, a soul urge number, it has a value to it, things that you value, which may not fit within what your family unit values, what your culture values, what your society values. But nevertheless, the soul urge will not be denied. You will forever strive to gain the experiences and the abilities to fulfill that soul urge. So let's take a look at the soul urge a bit more. I'm going to refer back to the Pythagorean system that we use to find all of these numbers. We use the Pythagorean system of numerology, and that's based on the numbers 1 through 9. And Pythagoras is Pythagorean. You know, he's the guy from Greece, from like 590 BC. Yeah, I think it's BC. And this is the system he developed. So all the letters in the English language are assigned to its own number. So number 1 is assigned to the numbers, to the letters A, J, and S. And then the number 2 is assigned to its letters, etc., etc. And this is what we use in finding our soul urge number. Now let me show you the cheat sheet. This is an example name. We're using this name, Sharon Lynn Clarkson. And as mentioned, we're looking at only the vowels in Sharon Lynn Clarkson's name. And you see the letter Y in this case is used as a vowel, because you couldn't really say the name Lynn without the letter Y being acting as a vowel. That's the weird thing about the letter Y. But adding up all the numbers of the vowels of Sharon Lynn Clarkson's name, and adding all those numbers together and together and together till we have one single digit, and we add all those together for Sharon, and we come up with a soul urge number of 3 for Sharon. But this video is for soul urge number 7, so we'll be talking about that one. So there's that cheat sheet. Pause the video, you can calculate your own. Now let's look at the soul urge number 7. 7 is an air element, just as the 3. The soul urge 3 is also an air element. The 7 is also an air element. But unlike the 3, it's a far, far deeper thinker and communicator than, say, a 3 soul urge. But that's okay. Each one has its own purpose. The soul urge 3, this is where the person feels compelled to learn and experience being alone, but not feeling lonely. They need to be alone, and they need to be introspective and by themselves, so they can better analyze these questions in life, such as, what's the meaning of life? And not just read a bunch of books in the library about other people's answers to the meaning of life, but to come up with their own answers. So you can see how much deep introspective work a soul urge number 3 has in front of them. And their soul urges them onto this, and this is what would really make them feel safe, comfortable, and satisfied. Go figure. Now, the number 7, interestingly, that's a number in the English name conventions. It's not found a lot. And if you look at the number 7 is assigned to the letters G, P, as in Paul, and Y. And for some reason, we just don't see the number 7 that dominant in American names. Oh well, maybe that means we're not very introspective thinkers. I don't know. But this is what the soul came here to learn and experience, to learn to perfect all things about yourself, your intellect, your emotional state, your beingness, to develop deep perspectives on what life is really about. Forget about the superficial explanations. Oh no, to really question things, analyze things. The word analyze is very strong with the soul urge number 7. They compulsively need to want to experience the exercise of analysis, analysis, analysis. And then, oh, by the way, some more analysis. That's a soul urge number 7. And then with this deep thinking, develop an astuteness of what's really going on in the world. When you look and when you perceive what things are going on out here, what things are being said, the behaviors that are being inactive, to really be astute as to what those behaviors and those words and those activities really mean. That's a deep astuteness that the soul urge number 7 is to develop and experience in this lifetime. Spending lots of times in libraries. If the libraries have all their books online, great, so much the better. Otherwise, showing up to the libraries or these places of study and contemplation, and these can take the form of the Jesuit religion. They have retreats where you can go and spend a lot of time being undertaking real introspective thought processes and analysis in other places of retreat from the hubbub of the world. Although also learning to be a scientist and experiment. The word experiment very strong with the soul urge number 7 is the scientist needs to experiment, and they really can't do that when they're all by themselves and isolated in an ashram or something. You really need other people to experiment on, such as guinea pigs. I mean, you can experiment on yourself with a lot of things, but having other people to experiment with or to observe certain behavior when people are given certain stimuli. And when I say that, I mean, if you look at someone cross-eyed, how do they react? If you look at someone with a big, silly grin on your face, how do they react to that? If you jump up and down and wave, how do they react to that? That's sort of a scientific method to see how others react. How others react gives you feedback, gives you more information to analyze as to the human condition, because that's what the soul urge number 7 is after, is the deep thinker to understand the human condition, who we are, why we do what we do, and what kinds of spiritual beings we really are, aside from just being a flesh body. Number 7, to develop that introspection, to develop that ability. Many of us don't in the Western culture, but the soul urge number 7, may not be so fun for some people, but it's greatly needed. They can come up with amazing answers to the meaning of life and problems of life. To develop wisdom. Wisdom is the perfect blending of love and intellect, to develop wisdom. So there's a great deal of love, which is an emotional aspect of humanity, and to explore and experiment with all the mental and spiritual aspects of themselves and of others. And that's where of others, even if you're married in a large household, you have a great laboratory for yourself to experiment with. And that's why it's also important to develop wisdom, which is that perfect blending of love and intellect. Soul Urge 7, to ever seek out more and more information. Never settle for the pat answer, the approved answer, the politically correct answer. Always look deeper and yet deeper still, especially at yourself. What's hidden inside you? What really makes you tick? And solve these problems for the rest of humanity. Someone has to do it, and a Soul Urge number 7 is well suited for that. So that's an air element. It may not sound so fun, but if you come up with some real solutions to some long-term, long-standing problems of humanity, man, you are worth your weight in gold. Soul Urge number 7. So thank you so much for joining us for this numerology Soul Urge interpretation to help you and your loved ones to navigate more successfully through life. The next video will be for the Soul Urge number 8, another interesting one. So thank you so much. Bless you. It's always great when you join us. Please like us, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you much. JJ signing out. Bye.